What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video. And yes, the Samsung Galaxy Unpacked event was yesterday. I want to talk to you about the phone I ordered, S24 Ultra. The other phones don't exist in my opinion. And I want to talk about the specs, what's new about the S24 Ultra, how much I paid for my S24 Ultra, and if you should upgrade from your S23 Ultra. That's a lot of Ultras. Let's go. Now, first things first, I jest. Of course, the event wasn't only about the Ultra phone, the Plus and the regular sized S23s were there. To be honest though, they didn't get titanium, they did get a new chip, slightly different screen, it's a bit bigger now because the bezels are smaller. I have never been one to go for a Samsung phone that isn't a flagship, as in the Ultra variant. I like a big phone, but if you have a Galaxy S20 and you don't want a huge phone, I would absolutely recommend upgrading to the S24 series because that 8 Gen 3 chip, the new screen, the performance, the efficiency, yeah. And if you get the Plus variant, it actually goes up to Quad HD Plus now, which was exclusive on the Ultra until yesterday. But you don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about my S24 Ultra, what I chose, the specs it has. So, let's talk about what I ordered first and how much I paid. So, I should say I had an email from Samsung, not because I'm special, just because I had registered for the pre-sale event. So make sure you've done that. Even at this point, I believe you can still register. And what that got me straight off the bat was £50 off. So keep that in mind. So I like the online exclusive colours. The other colours are fine. It's titanium now. Shock. Samsung have copied Apple. But yes, they've got a titanium rail now with the Gorilla Glass armour, they're calling it, on the front and back. It's meant to be much stronger and more scratch resistant. But yeah, glass is glass, and Jerry Rig tells us. Anyway, colours wise, I like the online exclusive colours best. So I chose the orange one. You can go for the titanium grey, which is basically the same as natural titanium that iPhone have on their Pro variants. Or there's a violet, which is kind of two-toned, which some people don't like, but I actually think it looks quite nice. And there's a few other colours that you can see here. I went for orange, and then my dilemma started. What storage do I go for? With Samsung, and this is something they are fantastic at, it's the bundles and deals you get if you know where to go and what codes to use, and we'll get to that. So I decided to go for the 0.5 terabyte version with my £50 off voucher. That was £1,199. Now in hindsight, having ordered yesterday, I could cancel and reorder, but that'll affect my delivery date. I maybe should have went for the terabyte. Not because I think I'll use a terabyte of storage, but when it comes to resale or trading in, the higher storage you have, the more money you're going to get. And to get the terabyte of storage on the S24 Ultra with that £50 off, because Samsung are doing a double your storage deal, which is fantastic, the terabyte would have only cost me £1,299. And I say only, but keep in mind, that's basically the same price as the 256 gigabyte version if it wasn't for the voucher and the double your storage as part of the pre-order deals. Anyway, I went for the 0.5 terabyte, more than enough storage that I need. I then went down, I paid in full, didn't need any accidental damage care or anything like that. I didn't add that, it's all through my insurance anyway. With that £50 off voucher, I also got a code for a free Samsung Galaxy 6 watch, valued at I believe £289. Now that watch I will never open. I may give it away in a video or just sell it, either on the channel or through eBay or Gumtree. I'll probably just sell it to get rid of it quickly for say £200. Unopened, £200. Somebody's going to get a good deal and I'm going to get £200. And that's important because the £1,200 I've just paid for the S24 Ultra now comes down to £1,000. Now also with that email, because I used the code, I got a free leather case. Vegan leather, but I got a free vegan leather official Samsung case valued at around £50. Now, to be honest, I don't rock cases very often, but I'm assuming you do, and you'd want to buy a case for your phone. So technically you've saved yourself £50 there because this is free. So that takes the value of the S24 Ultra that I paid down to £950. And then to complete the circle, trading wise, if you're in the UK, don't trade in your S23 Ultra. You're at most going to get like £500. Don't do it. Sell your S23 Ultra privately, and you can expect anywhere from £680 to £800. I sold my S23 Ultra for £725. So if you take that amount away from the S24 Ultra, what it cost me, which was effectively £950 when you factor in the free case and the free watch, I've ultimately paid £225 for my S24 Ultra, half terabyte. And I get free screen protectors, and Disney Plus for the full year is free, which saves me like 80 quid. What I'm trying to say is if you're smart, you can upgrade from the S23 Ultra to the S24 Ultra. Now, I guess the question is, should you? No. No, you shouldn't. Because let's talk about the specs of the S24 Ultra. The big thing for Samsung this year and all phone manufacturers is going to be AI. You're going to hear those two letters 100 million times this year, and some of it's pretty cool. I have the Pixel 8 Pro, a fantastic, just underrated device, which is for sale by the way, but a fantastic device. It's incorporated AI in its translation, its dictation, its images, Google Lens, all that stuff for years now. And every year it just gets more and more magic. Well, Samsung have incorporated Google's learning with their own, and they've got Samsung AI now. And some of the features like circling on your device on any image to do a search, that's pretty damn cool. And the fact that they've now got translation services and live calls and text, they've got the dictation, just like the Google Pixel, that all adds up to an already class-leading software experience that you get from One UI. Now, One UI has been updated as well. It looks more and more like iOS every day. Samsung fans, I know you don't want to hear that, but it's true. Look at the lock screen with the widgets. It's basically just an iPhone. But One UI is the best Android skin. I think we can all agree. And if we can, leave your favourite skin down in the comments when it comes to Android. Now that's the software features that Samsung focused on, but for the second half of the hour and 20 minute long event, it was about the hardware and in particular the cameras. Now before we talk about the cameras, the screen's much the same other than it's totally flat now. They have got rid of any form of curve. It's a totally flat display like the iPhone, and it's titanium rails like the iPhone. Sorry, I'll stop there. It's a hole punch camera. It's a 6.8 inch WQHD plus display, 120 Hz. It's the 8 Gen 3 chip for Galaxy. It's an absolute beast, just like the S23 Ultra, with a 5000 milliamp hour battery. One thing I haven't confirmed, and I'm only just thinking about this as I'm making this video, is the charging speeds and wireless charging speeds. I'll need to check that. I'm really hoping that it's going to be up from the 45 watts wired and 15 watts wireless. But future me will pop in if I'm happy or sad in the edit. And now, the cameras. It's a mixed bag of emotions here. The major selling point for me, and this is just me personally, with the Ultra series was the 10x optical zoom lens. I think having a 10x is fantastic. I love zoom photography and wildlife and other things. But they've removed it. There is no 10x optical zoom lens anymore. There's the usual 200 megapixel main, which has been improved, which is amazing because it was already fantastic. There's a 50 megapixel ultra wide and now a 50 megapixel 5 times optical zoom lens, and I believe a 50 megapixel 3 times. It might be less than that. I'll need to check. But it's all about the 5 times optical zoom lens. Essentially what Samsung are saying, the zoom lens is like 3 times sharper resolutions, 3 times better quality of a lens. So moving it to 5 times at 50 megapixel means that you can get 10 times optical at 12.5, basically 12 megapixels. Now, bearing in mind that the previous 10 times optical zoom lens was at 10 megapixels, Samsung are saying that the 10x zoom on the S24 is better than the 10x zoom on the S23. Now, I don't get the phone until next week. For those that care, mine arrives on the 24th of January, so not long to wait. But when it does, I will be doing an extensive camera testing comparison between the 15 Pro Max and the Pixel 8 Pro. Don't worry. I might even throw in the, again, underrated and absolute flagship killer, I was going to call it the ZTE, the Nubia Z60 Ultra. Thanks for all the views on that video. It's performing really well. So yeah, I'll do that camera comparison. Now, other lenses, as mentioned, they've kept the 3 times optical. So they're doing a bit of an Apple here and saying they've got like 12 different lenses, because that 200 megapixel can actually go to 2 times optical zoom. So they've got a 0.5 times ultra wide, a 1 times wide, a 2 times optical zoom, a 3 times optical zoom, a 5 times optical zoom, a 10 times optical zoom, and it'll go all the way up to 100x space zoom, which again is meant to be sharper and clearer than the S23 Ultra's 10x, but time will tell. Overall, the event was good, if a bit long about the AI stuff, but some of that AI stuff is pretty damn cool. Other features was the quick share is across all Android devices now. So your Google Pixel, you'll be able to quick share high resolution images between that and your Samsung device, which is fantastic. That makes my content creation a hell of a lot easier when sharing files. And again, I'll test this, but the video is meant to be far superior on this device, with 4K being able to be shot at 120 frames per second at 10 times zoom. That's pretty damn impressive. A 10 times zoomed video at 120 frames per second is going to give me some unreal slow motion footage. And if you're 8K inclined, it will do 8K 30 frames per second, and you can get that 5 times zoom as well, which is, yeah. When you understand how impressive 8K actually is, and the processing and power that goes into it, when you think back to just 5 years ago, it's kind of insane what our smartphones can do. So that's my update, my S24 Ultra. Let me know in the comments what comparisons you want to see. A versus, you know I love a versus video, so S24 Ultra versus the Nubia, for example, versus the iPhone. Let me know. If you've got any questions about the device, again, pop them in the comments. And until next time,